Sir, did you get away with this essentially with only having to serve 2 to 4 years?
No comment there from the building owner of this, the deadliest fire in the city of Las Vegas city limits history. A judge sentencing that man, Adolfo Orozco Garcia, to up to 4 years in prison. But the judge allowed him to wait 90 days in order to turn himself in.
8 News Now investigator Kyle Payne. Kyle, in court for today's hearing, caught up with that landlord on his way out of the building. Here's Kyle.
Denise, Bryan, the Alpine Motel fire in downtown Las Vegas killed 6 people and injured 13 in 2019. It took 6 years of litigation before the landlord took responsibility for the fire and took an Alford plea, meaning he'll be sentenced for the crime, but doesn't admit guilt. And hours in court Tuesday before a judge gave the man his sentence, but still let him walk out the door.
Mr. Orozco Garcia, we want to know just if you have any comment, any reaction whatsoever. This was such a big story and a big fire. Please, Mr. Garcia, just a comment before you leave. Mr. Garcia, will you be back in 90 days?
90 days for Adolfo Orozco Garcia before he begins what could be 4 years in state prison for the December 2019 fire that, by all accounts, could have been prevented. Judge Jacqueline Bluth Tuesday summarizing the terrible conditions in the building, including bedbug-infested apartments, no lighting in the hallway, little to no electricity.
There were no ceilings in their bathrooms where their ceilings were coming down. There was no working heat, and they were consistently trying to use stoves and ovens to heat themselves to survive the winter.
And that's exactly what happened in apartment 8 where the fire started. Prosecutors say the person who lived here had the stove running to keep his apartment warm, left, and when he came back, ran from the flames, leaving the door open and letting the fire spread. But many smoke detectors were disabled, the fire alarm not working, and a back door bolted shut. This woman in yellow tried to leave through the door that did work, got disoriented, and breathed her last breath right here.
The issue is that it was a dump, and the back door was locked.
Defense attorney Dominic Gentile told Judge Bluth he was not expecting her to sentence Adolfo Garcia to prison and continued to defend his client after court ended, saying prosecutors couldn't tie Adolfo Garcia to that bolted back door at Alpine.
Well, the back door being locked, obviously the judge conceded and the DA conceded that they have no proof that Adolfo knew that. And if you take a look at at the ways that he repaired the premises once notified by inspectors that changes need to be made, he did it every time and quickly. Every time and quickly.
In court today, we learned that one of the victims had a letter in an envelope ready to send to her landlord with some of those complaints never sent.
I remember covering that fire after. It was just horrific, the
Rough.
conditions of what happened there. So this obviously was a huge fire, one of the deadliest in city history. Were there other people involved in this case then?
Yes, but the district attorney did not charge the property managers or the contractors who sort of ran the day-to-day operations in the building. In 2023, a judge signed off on a global civil settlement. So this is probably the end.
Wow. Okay. Kyle, thanks for that update.